Welcome back to It's in the Details. Please do remember to share, like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, and all of the places. Help grow the show. We are doing a solo podcast this week. I hope you like the sound of my voice talking about things I want to talk about because that's what you're going to get. Let's start here. If you're a regular listener, you know I've developed a bit of a passion for Formula One racing. I told you a couple of weeks ago the next race began on April 16th, and that's right around the corner. If you haven't had a chance to watch any of the shows I recommended, no worries. I'm sure the drama will be great this weekend. In race number 1, Lewis Hamilton barely squeaked out a win over his closest rival, Max Verstappen. Hamilton's Mercedes team exercised superior strategy to overcome the speed gains made by Verstappen's Red Bull team over the offseason. I watched the last 3 laps of that race standing behind my couch because I have become a bit of an F1 nerd, and I'm okay with that. Quite frankly, I don't see how this upcoming race will disappoint. Tune in. The World Women's Curling Championship starts up on April 30th. Now, I'm well aware that curling doesn't really carry the same kind of allure of the many other entertainment options you have, but bear with me. First of all, I was a bowler for a number of years in my childhood, so I very much believe that bowling people are curling people and curling people are bowling people. So maybe my interest was fostered back then. But there's so much to like about high-level curling. Do you like strategy? Think chess on ice. But even the best thought-out move can end up feet away from your desired position because you threw it too hard or soft, or your sweepers swept too much or not enough. And yes, the sweeping matters. Tired of doing chores? Watch someone else sweep up for a while. And if they win, they get prizes and money. When you're done sweeping, you just get to think about how you're going to have to sweep again soon because nothing stays clean. For real though, the storylines are great. The Canadian skip, think captain, Kerry Einarson, won the Canadian national tournament, the Scotties, last year. But a couple of days before the Worlds were scheduled to start, it was canceled due to COVID. Devastating. The whole team was devastated. Kerry and her team managed to fight their way back to the top of the Canadian ranks earlier this year and have earned another World Championship berth. Kerry's team met Team Ontario in the finals of the Canadian Championship, a team led by an 8-month pregnant Rachel Homan. 8 months pregnant, top of her field. The commentators are also great. A mixture of past champions and seasoned broadcasting professionals. In my opinion, they do a great job of detailing strategy. They stay out of the way so we can hear the players discuss what they want to do, and they are constantly cracking jokes at each other's expense. I'll be honest, I'm not sure watching curling minus a packed crowd of liquored up Canadians cheering their toques off is the best introduction. But it's a great chill watch. And why not support some Canadians doing one of the things the country really excels at? I have an issue with our beloved streaming services. It's not a huge thing. I actually think it's an easy fix. First of all, just in case they hear this, thank you for providing us with some of the best entertainment modern society has ever seen. Please don't cancel my memberships. Look, I really appreciate the play from beginning of the episode button. I always find myself just walking away from a show right in the middle of the episode after pressing stop or pause and coming back to it and thinking, I'd like to rewatch all of that stuff I just watched earlier today. I'd actually love to find out how many people are actually using that button. But what we really need is a play from 5 minutes before the end of the previous episode button. If I haven't watched a show in weeks or months, and the show does not provide episode recaps on every episode, I am either rolling the dice that once the show starts up, I'm just going to remember all the major plot points and what just happened at the end of the last episode. Or I go back to that last episode and fast forward through the entire thing until I get to the bits I need. Is this play from the last 5 minutes of the previous episode button already a thing? Or did I just come up with a great idea? If I did just come up with a great idea, just hook a brother up. Just hook me up. A little money, a job, a year of free streaming, a few years of free streaming for life. Just hook a brother up. That's all I'm saying. And I don't want to hear anything about, how long does it take to fast forward through the entire episode? First of all, mind your business. Second of all, it doesn't matter how long it takes. We're all paying $10 to $15 monthly for these services. And once again, please don't cancel my accounts. I love everything you're providing. But this is something they can do. Furthermore, they know everything about how we consume entertainment. They've got stand-up comedians using their closing bits as their opening bits because they know the majority of people will only give a comedy special 20 minutes or so before turning it off. Also, have you noticed in most of the new action movies that you are suddenly thrust into a whirlwind car chase or some massive gunfight before you even know any of the characters' names? Ryan Reynolds' Six Underground stands out as a great example of this. It's the same thing as the comedy. They want to catch you and hold you there because they know there are so many things available for you to watch that if you aren't instantly intrigued, well, you'll just leave. So they're creating these movies with abandonment issues, doing all of their best tricks to get you to stay right at the beginning. They know what you want, when you want it, and how long you seem to want it for. Well, I want a play from 5 minutes before the end of each episode button. Make it happen, please, and thank you. Today's installment of You've Gotta See This focuses on what is probably one of my top 2 or 3 favorite scripted shows I've found during the pandemic, Search Party. Upon starting the show, I immediately realized I am not the target demographic. So, if you are not in your early to mid-20s, give the show a few episodes to breathe, and then make a decision. The show tells the story of a foursome of friends in New York who have recently graduated college and embark on a journey to find a former college acquaintance who has gone missing. It is part comedy, part mystery, part drama, part thriller, all memorable. You are not going to watch this show and just feel that it was fine. I think you'll absolutely love it, or you won't. Starring John Reynolds, John Early, and Meredith Hanger, all whom I have never seen in anything. And really, I only bring that up to point out that by episode 2 or 3, you'll be wondering why you don't already know these people. Because they're all great and get better and better as the show progresses. The show is led by Alia Shawkat, whom you may know for playing Maybe Funke in Arrested Development. We will dig into how phenomenal she is in this show a little later. It also includes so many fabulous cameos that will leave you thinking, I am so happy this person is in this, or again, how is it that I don't already know this person? The cameos are the embodiment of the idiom, there are no small parts, only small actors. Every single cameo either pushes the story forward, sets you into a giggle fit, or creates dramatic tension. The precision with which the show uses its cameos bleeds into the show in general. It doesn't waste a moment. Each episode is roughly 22 minutes. Many episodes seem to end in some type of cliffhanger. and every episode is so good you'll end up watching 4 or 5 in a row. Put it this way. You know when a coworker comes in with some chocolate chip cookies and, you take one because it's a cookie. Well, for whatever reason, Susan decided she's making her great-great-grandmother's award-winning chocolate chip cookies, but they're small. Well, Susan, you knew you were making these award-winning cookies, but you made them so small I'm going to have more than one. Especially because the last couple of bites are that perfect, chewy, crispy part of the cookie, and suddenly you've eaten 4 cookies. That's what Search Party is. You know you probably shouldn't sit around watching 4 episodes in a row, but each one is more delicious than the last, and you just keep thinking, I could eat more cookie. While the acting is great, the script is smart, funny, over the top, sets are great, there isn't one single character that you will find likable. And by likable, I mean these aren't the type of people you'd necessarily wish good things for or even want to hang out with on the reg. They're also self-absorbed or rude or completely vapid. And I mean all of those things in the absolute best way possible. They're all such fun characters to root for because if you're a half-decent person, you don't want to, but you don't have a choice. If you buy into the absolutely bonkers world they live in, you will be inextricably linked to them until someone writes the final scenes of this show. I'm slightly hesitant to list some of the characters' shortcomings out of context, but let's do this. One of the characters, named Portia Davenport, is a blue-eyed, blonde-haired actress who we are introduced to playing a Latina character on a TV show. And at one point, Portia refers to herself as racially ambiguous. Another character breaks up with and rekindles the relationship with his boyfriend seemingly every other episode. There is manipulation, gaslighting, deceit, blackmail, and there's a character with a framed Steven Seagal picture hanging on one wall, and another wall is adorned with nunchucks. And while I'm sure that a framed Steven Seagal picture and some nunchucks in itself does not make someone unlikable, this dude is not likable. Alia Shawkat, who plays Dory Seif, is a revelation. She played one of my favorite characters on Arrested Development, so I was already sold on her. But what she accomplishes in this is on another level. Now, I imagine good acting is about so many things, but ultimately it comes down to choices, and I think you'll love all of hers. The way she reacts, the way she laughs, the way she lies, the way she cries. We got to see her sing and even play a ukulele. Even watching her order a bagel in the middle of season 2 is a meal in itself. I'm working hard not to give any spoilers. There are 4 seasons so far. Let's just say, as the show progresses, Dory's personality seems to open up in ways that make you feel like your 4-year-old self looking into a kaleidoscope for the first time. Essentially, don't assume you know what's about to happen next. You don't. Much like with Queen's Gambit's Anya Taylor-Joy, the directors seem to understand how great Alia is to watch on camera, as they let the camera linger on her face as she walks down the streets of New York or as she attempts to wriggle her way out of her most recent lie, allowing the viewer's eyes to feverishly study each perfect, bouncy curl on her head, or, like me sometimes, you just end up staring at her freckles. What I'm trying to say is on top of her outstanding acting, she is captivating, and you will find yourself drawn to her whenever she's on screen. And everyone she's on screen with is fabulous and fun to watch. Some of my favorite moments I can actually tell you about without ruining too much include an Oprah spoof episode, a court case with a judge who has a medical condition which requires him to snack consistently, which, I mean, is so perfect because judges in movies and TV always sit there getting all that hot court gossip, and they definitely should be snacking while watching it unfold. And this show did it. The fashion is fantastic, making some characters look extremely chic and others completely outrageous. And finally, an ice cream shop in a small town closed down, and the sign they posted on the door read, "After 65 years of servicing this wonderful community, we've decided to stop." The other thing I love about this show is how every season it becomes a new thing. There's an obvious through line in terms of the story, but either the majority of the scenes are in a brand new setting, or the pace, tempo, and structure is different because of the circumstances. That may sound unsettling out of context, but trust me, you'll enjoy it. I also love when a show appears to have received a large boost to their budget. The sets seem grander, the guest stars are even starrier. That seems to happen here as well. And even if they haven't received more money, it just means that everyone involved found a way to get more out of what they have, which is tremendous. And people with big names in the industry want to be involved. I mean, it's so good. If you've already found Search Party, hit me in the comments. I'd love to hear what some of your favorite bits are. If you're hearing about it now for the first time, Search Party is something you've got to see.